Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News, or our monthly NFT and gaming update with our friend Matty or DCL Blogger. Hope you had a good break, Matty. How's things?
I did. Thank you, Alex. Things are good. Things are good. Busy. I just can't get my eyes off the Twitter and Discord. There's just so much happening.
It's been insane, the NFT space. We need to do more than a monthly episode, and today we're going to try and attempt to do a bit of a forecast and predictions for the year ahead as well. But I think we'd have to go over the recent news because it's just in the last few weeks, some of these brand names and some of the figures that we're seeing, NBA top shots, it's become very real. And I love it when non crypto people are sort of brought into the crypto space. So, do you want to give us the kind of big picture rundown?
So I think this month, out of all other months, has really seen this thing go exponential in terms of NFTs and understanding. And I think a big part of that has been because of NBA Top Shot, who's done it again. Dapper Labs, who did it in 2017 and clogged the network with their release of CryptoKitties. They've come and built a product called NBA Top Shot, built on their Flow blockchain, and built brought down a very strong brand, NBA Top Shot. And what they've done is quite revolutionary in the NFT industry. And I personally thought it would take a year or two to get there, but they made the onboarding and the purchasing ability make it look like the blockchain and NFT stuff, all that tech stuff, is in the shadows.
I might bring it
Um,
up while you're talking, Matty, as well. So, keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're buying these moments or these collectibles, these NBA collectibles, which are NFTs, and they're kind of GIF images, and Alex will show you guys soon. You don't know you're buying an NFT. You just know that you're participating on a secondary marketplace that has lots of money. Your friends are buying it. Everyone's collecting these things. Um, you're paying in USD, you're not even needing crypto. And it's just crazy because it's the first time I've seen a huge amount of money. Don't quote me on this, but I think it's at least 50% non-crypto money coming in. And I'm seeing that kind of become a disconnect from the crypto industry, which suddenly you're not affected that much from whether Bitcoin goes up and down because suddenly you've got this thing that works on blockchain that's by itself. So I just think that's quite revolutionary and that's really accelerated, opened the Pandora's box of what now can be done with the NFT industry.
Yeah, so when people are coming in to buy these and they're on the Flow blockchain, you said, which
Yep.
is it's actually different. There's another Flow blockchain we've covered on the channel as well, but this is a different Flow blockchain. What you're saying is users, they can buy this with like a normal credit card or whatever. They don't need to install MetaMask and know what's going on in the crypto world. Is that right?
That's correct. So they can buy with a credit card, they can buy with Ethereum, even with the MetaMask. The crazy thing is that you don't even need a wallet to buy anything. You can just log in and start buying stuff with the credit card, but on the back end, it's actually using the Dapper wallet and the Flow blockchain. And all the transactions, when you trade, when you gift, it's all happening on chain, and you have no clue it's happening on chain.
Wow, I think that one just sold while we are looking at it, which probably shows you how crazy it is at the moment. And one of these sold for $750,000 the other day. Is that right? What's the story there? Is that one like a super rare one? Are these like one of ones, or there are thousands of these? How's that all work?
No, it was three-quarters of the million. That was CryptoPunks. That's a different
Oh,
project.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think the record here is $100,000. Someone said 150,000, but I haven't seen that. But it's $100,000. And so, with all this hype, I think with marketplaces, we also have to be quite vigilant because a lot of people, what they can do is because each Top Shot moment, and I'm not sure if you guys had a chance to look at the GIF that Alex showed on the first page, but it's kind of like a play. So each moment is a play, like a dunk or a pass or something really cool that's happened.
Yeah.
And they all have limited editions. So, for example, one is a legendary with only 49 supply. One's a cosmic with 150 supply, whatever. And so the base set one, the first ever release, are the ones that are appreciating in value a lot because they've all been capped. The supply has been capped. But what people are doing, and this is where you really need to know what you're doing when it comes to participating in these marketplaces, is that they're buying up all the supply of certain ones. So, like the ones that have 1,000 or 2,000 supply, they're buying it up from $5, $10, $20, $50, all the way up to $500. And suddenly they're the market makers. They have like 100 of these. They can drip feed that. They can drip feed that to you, the new buyers at $500 a piece. And on top of that, the estimator tools. So there's an estimator tool called Intangible Market, where it picks up, does a portfolio estimate for you. But the problem with it is it picks up the cheapest listed and does an estimate. So even if you've bought it from $5 to $500, and now the cheapest listed at $500, then it's going to calculate, you have 50 times $500 worth, which is, I think, 25K, and that doesn't make sense, right? So there's these weird things that you have to keep an eye on when you're buying, I guess, bulk, or you're buying stuff, because it is a pretty inflated market at the moment. And there's like little things like these that I think are like loopholes for investors that are quite experienced in the marketplace to mess around with.
It's exactly the same as like a liquid altcoin. There's not a lot of supply. Someone pays $100, and then the coin market cap tells you that it's $100 a coin, and it's got this big market cap, but it's not really true at all. So yeah, there's a lot of games people can play and get sucked into. So the CryptoPunks, so they were the original back in the day. Was it 2017, before CryptoKitties or just after when they came out?
No, actually before CryptoKitties. So
Yeah.
CryptoPunks, and I kind of found this out a year after I learned about NFTs, but CryptoPunks were the first NFTs that were ever released on Ethereum. And they weren't even the ERC 721 standard. They were pre-ERC 721 standard, and they say they inspired that standard to come into existence. But back then they were trading for free. I mean, you could come and claim these for free. And they didn't actually take off at all until Mashable actually covered them. And after that, people rushed and claimed them, but they were just trading for like, 0.1 Ethereum, $50 here, $20 here. And now the recent one that sold by Flamingo DAO. So Flamingo DAO is, these guys. So Flamingo DAO is actually a DAO fund dedicated to acquire NFTs. And 100 people have pulled together 60 Ethereum. There's about 6,000 Ethereum in the DAO, and they vote on what they want to buy. So these guys actually purchased the most expensive punk to date, which is this one, for 760K USD, I believe.
Yeah, $760,000. It's amazing.
So the unique thing about this punk is that out of the 10,000 punks, there's never going to be any more. And they were all computer generated, and they all have different supply of different traits. And this trait is an alien trait, which is why it's kind of light blue. There's only 9 alien traits punks in the whole thing, right?
And so they can have certain qualities, blue backgrounds. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I don't think it's much to do with the background. I think the background is just female or male, but you can see the colors on the head, like the hair color. I mean, if you click on any of these punks, so just click on any one of them.
$95,000, yeah.
And then if you scroll down, you can see the accessories. So you can see beanie. No. Yeah, over here. Oops.
Okay.
Sorry, Alex, scroll up a bit.
Big shades, beanie, mutton chops. Is that what you're after?
Yeah, so you can see X amount of punks have this, right? 44 punks have beanies. So it's all kind of like supply and demand. The ones that people collect beanie punks, so they get, obviously 44 out of 10,000 will demand a higher price.
Okay, cool. Okay. How many are smoking cigarettes? 960. There you go.
Yeah.
You can't breed these though, can you? You can't breed CryptoPunks.
No, you can't. They're just a once-off set. That's it.
Okay. And so
I think CryptoKitties came and kind of gamified this a bit.
CryptoKitties are the ones you can breed 1155s. You can't breed ERC 721.
No, I think they're all ERC 721s.
Okay.
I think the 1155 standard came a little bit later than that.
It did. Yeah. Well, there you go. You learn something every day in these episodes, Matty.
I always have to kind of preface this that we're all seeing this big sales and this high volume, but because I've been in the market for so long, there's always a little bit of dodgy business going on. So even with CryptoPunks, I remember when Rarible was giving out Rari token to buyers and sellers, there was people what they were doing was they were buying CryptoPunks from the CryptoPunk website. Then they were wrapping the token so it was ERC 721 compatible. Then they were selling that on the Rarible marketplace. So it kind of looked like CryptoPunks was having a lot of volume. A lot of people were buying up the floor, but what they were doing was pretty much dumping it back on Rarible and therefore farming Rari tokens. And I think that little episode in September created a lot of volume and generated a lot of buzz. And then since then, CryptoPunks has been, even before that, it was rising pretty good. But I think that kind of accelerated a bit.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of people gaming that system there. I've just brought up the Rarible website. So, guys, if you're like a lot of these, we've seen it a lot in DeFi as well. If you're using a protocol, a lot of the time they'll reward you in the native token. And so, what we saw was a lot of even influencers start to sell their own NFTs, and then they'd actually be buying their own NFTs for a higher price to create hype. But then they were trying to like almost wash trade, because if you had lots of sales, you'd get more rarity tokens, and kind of gaming the system. Pardon the pun, but that's one of the problems where we're still trying to work out how to stop people, flaunting that system.
I think because NFTs have very little liquidity, right? So right now, the cheapest parcel on Decentraland is 8,000 mana. If you buy, I guess, the 20 cheapest parcels, and suddenly you bump that cheapest parcel up to 15,000 or maybe 10,000 mana. So some whale can come with $1 million and suddenly it picks up the floor from 8,000 to 15, 20,000 mana. And you think Decentraland's going nuts, but it's just maybe one whale who's bought it all. So
Yeah. So Decentraland, do you want to dive into that? Because when we first, I know you're a massive Decentraland bull, and when we first started covering that, it was what, 2 cents ICO, and it hovered between 3 and 4 cents for ages. That's when we did a lot of research on it, particularly in the group, and I know plenty of you guys were accumulating. And what did we hit this week? It's been on fire.
It's hit almost 20 cents if we're talking USD terms. Maybe it hit 20 cents on some exchanges. Currently sitting at about 15 to 16 cents.
Awesome.
But two massive pieces of news came out. One being the partnership with Atari. At that time, it was just a teaser image saying Atari and Decentraland. But it was also Grayscale, or rumors of Grayscale, adding a Decentraland trust. And I guess that being a channel of investor, I guess they can now, kind of...
People want exposure to the gaming space. And if Grayscale have a mana trust, that's enormous. That is so huge. Yeah,
it's huge in a bull run, especially with institutional money coming in. That, like you said, want to experiment a bit more. They bought their Bitcoin, they bought their Ethereum. They said, okay, well, we want to buy some gaming. We want to expose ourselves to the gaming market. Well, what's Grayscale going to do? They've only got one project that does that on their books, right?
The other thing I want to show people was I spoke about this a lot in that interview that I did with Raul on Real Vision recently. This was one of the projects. So you guys might have heard me say that I've been working with a few projects to try and build a gaming index for people. So this is Alex. He's the, I think, CEO of one of the founders of PieDAO. And PieDAO let you create these pies. You can think of them as, it's like a token or an index of other tokens. Decentralized, here you go, market weighted portfolio allocations. So I proposed this to him. I want to make an index with Engine, Mana, Axie Infinity, Sand, Game Credits, Matic, Ghost, which is Avagotchi and Red Fox. And so they put this proposal forward, say, hey, let's create this index. I think they're calling it the Play Index. And if token holders vote this, then it'll get the all clear. And this will become like a pie or an index token that you can buy, just like we have the DeFi index coop or DeFi pies. So you might have heard of this. Go back and watch some of my DeFi tutorials and stuff if you haven't, guys. But people want exposure to this stuff, and there's going to be more and more ways for them to do that. But what I love is that on the back end, this is buying all those tokens. So this isn't a synthetic product. This will actually buy these tokens through Uniswap or Sushi or Kyber, 0x, whatever it is. And that's obviously putting upwards pressure on the price. So, hey, I love it. If Grayscale make a Mana product, boy, oh boy, that is going to dwarf any like DeFi index or Pi. That is going to have big money flow into it from the big boys.
So there was two big pieces of news that came, and I think Mana did a 60% or something on that day. But yeah, it was exciting because with the Atari partnership, more details came across. And basically, Atari is going to build a headquarters there. You're going to be able to play their old arcade games and pay. And I think they said you can pay in Atari tokens. So it might be their way of introducing and incorporating their token or the ERC20 and giving utility to it. And on top of that, they're going to be announcing a game jam, which is basically a competition for developers to build games under the Atari license for 3 years. So you can be approved and your game will be in that arcade in Decentraland. I just think it was freaking amazing. That was such a good incorporation of what the tech can do at the moment and a big brand coming in doing something. It was just awesome.
That's what one of the things I've spoken about is breaking down those barriers to entry, where like developers have good ideas, but it's just so hard to get a game out there these days because you're just a little nobody, or it might not suit. The board might say, "Oh no, we don't like that idea. We want to do this because it's our big corporate backers want you to cover this brand or something." But now these little independent guys can come in and Atari say, "Hey, that's cool. Come under our banner. We'll help you." And that's what we're going to see others do as well. And these marketplaces that are going to start to pop up from trusted brands where you can create your own NFTs or create your own games. And it'll be, this is one of the things that I think Red Fox want to do. And they'll say, well, here's a SDK or API, plug into all our tools and it'll all run with the Red Fox token sort of thing. So I just love how this is all going to be kind of like interoperable. You can play Atari or you can play COGS in Decentraland. Man, oh man, it's starting to really gain momentum. I think I saw you tweet the other day that a year ago there was a handful of people in Decentraland at a given time, and now we're seeing like lots of activity.
Actually, there was like 0 people when I'd go into Decentraland, just because it was such a big open space.
Yeah.
The size of a small city, the chance of you actually running into someone was very minimal. And then they've got the events calendar, and now you can track what events are going on where.
Yeah.
But every now and then when I go in, I click the M button that pulls up the map in the game, and there's like clusters of people around me, which is so cool to see. Like this is not when there's events at all. This is just people going in and hanging out, which is great. That's what you want, right? You want some stickiness.
I might try and find. I've got a little sneak peek of our Decentraland headquarters. And those of you that have got tickets to that event, it's literally just putting on the final touches and putting up the like some branding and some stuff on the walls at the moment. And then we're going to have that event ready to go. We've got some cool guest speakers. I think Matty's going to be there. So yeah, that is going to be an awesome launch party. Those of you that got tickets will get to like chat to all of us live. I think we will like record it or stream it for other people to watch some parts of it later on. But yeah, the live event where we get to all sort of interact, I just think that's going to be like a world first. I can't wait for that. So we're seeing others now like Kraken are there. You mentioned Grayscale. I've heard that they want to have investor conferences in Decentraland. But yeah.
Barry Silbert and them they were very early ICO investors. They've got like 4,000 pieces of land. I think they were waiting for the maturity level to become what it is now.
Okay.
So they can bring their partners and Decentraland can build an experience for them. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see the wheels turning on their plans.
I'm just going to try and bring this clip up, Matty. But what are some of the others that have been doing well? Because I know some people say, "Oh, you guys are Decentraland maximalists." So what's been going on in some of these other virtual worlds? Axie Infinity have been doing really well. Gods Unchained have been doing well.
Heaps. We saw Sand double in value, went from like he hit a 200% day, and now I don't know if that was natural or what happened there. I don't think there was any news off the back of that. I think it actually got approved on a Korean exchange or a Japanese exchange, because I know Engine went up in value and then Sand went up in value. One of them went for a Japanese exchange, and one of them got listed on.
Engine got approved in Japan, which is really strict with their regulation, so that's pretty big. Sand had a couple of I think partnerships, or I might look that up in a second as well. But let's have a look. Let's show people at home. I'll show you as well, Matty. I don't know if you've seen this latest one. Let's have a look at our Nuggets News HQ.
Nice.
So I think it looks a little bit different from the outside. I don't think it's exactly the same. So you can actually make it look like one way from outside, like looking through the glass. But when you actually go inside, it's different. Like you can add floors and add other features and stuff. Hey, there's me behind the desk, guys. I'll be your AI bot that helps you and tells you where to go and whatnot. This is going to turn into more of a community center. So we want people to be able to come here and watch tutorials, or we might have, a game night, or, you can rock up like you would to a normal conference or event, chat to your friends, hang out here, play some games, talk about collectibles. The sky's the limit with what you can do. But then on the night, I think we're going to have the VIP party like on the roof here. So you might get beamed up here automatically with your NFT ticket, and only VIPs will be able to access this area. We'll have the stage, and we'll have a panel and the
Is
guests
that through an
talking.
NFT token, Alex?
Yeah, that's the token that we sold. And those people will be able to ask questions, and you'll be able to talk to me and Matty and the other special guests, that surprise that I've got lined up for you.
So only they will be able to access the building if they have the NFT token, right? So it's kind of like picks it up
Only
from your members. Is that how it
only
works?
they will be able to access like the VIP area, or when we have events or whatever, they might be the only people that can get in. But like normally during the day, 24/7, we want this to be like a bit of a community center where people can go, and we want to create AI bots that are going to help you with your tutorials. So you might say, I don't know
What's
how to
animated?
use I don't know how to use MetaMask. So hopefully you'll be able to come there, and we'll have like a bot that is teaching people how to use MetaMask. And yeah,
Yeah. No, shout out to Daniel from Polygonal Minds that made that.
yeah, they've done a great job. The team,
Amazing.
awesome.
Great development. So we can talk about Sandbox. I'm bullish on any project that has been here for 1 to 2 years that obviously are here to stay and that have a very visually appealing experience. Sandbox is one of them. I have Sand Token. I have, and Gods Unchained is another one of them. Now, Sandbox, I think they've got like 15 to 20 games lined up. So when they launch and go public, they've already got the gaming momentum. Their lands are much bigger than Decentraland lands. So they're like maybe 100 times bigger, but the supply is much bigger. There's a lot of value. I mean, I think it's like $40 to $60 per land. But yeah, I think they're going to do really well. I think moving forward, a visual kind of game is a lot more, I guess, you can connect with that easier as a no coiner. So someone who wants to invest in crypto, it makes sense to look at Sandbox and say, oh, that could be the next Minecraft, or that can be the next Roblox on blockchain, and suddenly it's the bridge of investment is a little bit easier, as opposed to when I got into crypto in 2017. For me, blockchain, I didn't know what the hell that was.
What is this like, is it rail blocks? Is this like a Minecraft blockchain thing, or like, can you explain that? I keep hearing it, but yeah.
So Roblox is this kind of, it's this platform where anyone can make a game, and I think there's like these really fun games like I think it's called Murder in the House, or some like random games that you can build, that community people can build, and then people can join those games, and they rank based on how many people are playing them and how how popular they are. So kind of like they're not like Minecraft. They're a bit like, I guess, Steam. So it's kind of
Okay.
like it's not a decentralized Steam, but it's Steam where anyone can make a game, and then that ranks and people can join and play those games.
Okay. Cool.
But it's very popular with the kids, with like 15, maybe even 20-year-olds. But people just go in there to play some brainless games. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, the world of streaming is just changing at the moment. I mentioned that little app, Incent, the other day as well to members. I just think that the whole like marketing and the attention and the way that we do things, it's all going towards these streamers, and these kids are just getting younger and younger that have got like the followers and the attention, and it's just shifting away from, forget TV and radio and even YouTubers. We're probably the old guys these days compared to the streamers and the platforms that they're on.
I mean, Instagram's getting old. People are on TikTok. Like you said, I think technology is moving way too quick, and the younger generation just picks something up, and within a year or something, it becomes outdated.
Yeah,
It,
yeah.
yeah,
Um,
massive pace.
So, Matty, unless you've got any other big news to cover, should we talk about some predictions? Because it's changed so fast. Like people, I'd probably say a few hundred or in the hundreds of people at the start. If you went back to the start of 2020, there's only probably hundreds of people that really knew what NFTs were. They'd kind of heard about them, but even a lot of the crypto crowd wouldn't have been able to tell you what an NFT is. Whereas I think most people now kind of get it, or they could describe, it's digital art or something like that. I think we're kind of at that place now where it's getting into the hundreds of thousands with NBA Top Shots, and we'll see more and more of these branded, whether it's sporting agencies or musicians, collectors, artists, it's all sort of coming. So what's your, I just hate to think how big it could be, but what do you think, where do you think we're going in 2021?
So I'll give you a couple of pieces of news. So Mark Cuban recently tweeted that he put his art on Rarible. And then we recently know that Mark Cuban also followed Dapper Labs, Flow Blockchain, and NBA Top Shot. So I don't know if he's going to make a move there. I think he would, because he owns the Mavericks, right? So you think people like him are starting to get it and move into, all right, wait a second, digital. Like for him to get into NBA Top Shot, I personally thought it was just a matter of time. But for him to play around with what Rarible can do and make some art and really trying to understand the technology, who knows how big this can go. If someone like Mark is going to get it and start to really be a proponent of the tech, then we could maybe see some startups on Shark Tank. Like I said, NBA Top Shot really opened up the Pandora's box to finally show the rest of the NFT world that what it takes to kind of go mainstream, what it takes to bring that no corner interest, the no corner money, the thing that we've been wanting to do on blockchain for 12 years, right?
Did you hear about on Twitter a few weeks ago, Mark Cuban, like he tweeted something about DeFi, because traditionally he's been mainly a Bitcoiner, but he tweeted like, oh, I'm lending on Aave, and and people were just like, what? You know what DeFi is? You know what Aave is? You're lending, and now you're telling me that he's in this space as well. So yeah, I just think that most of our followers know that I just don't think maximalism is any good for the space and it's not going to last. But now you've got these more and more people just discovering that there's so much more to crypto.
Yeah, and people like him, I think, give it validity. Right, it's like compounding validity. Like I get it, and you start getting it, Alex, and people that educate and have more kind of people that have access to. And I think right now we're going through a mass education phase. Like now people are looking at NFTs and seeing what they can do. Or I can do art, or I can do NBA Top Shot. People are getting it, and then that brings the money, and that brings a lot of funding and a lot of, I guess, interest, so that other projects can come and turn the NFT switch on. Maybe Epic Games might get involved. I was actually on a Clubhouse podcast. I'm not sure if you guys have used the app Clubhouse. It's kind of getting popular. It's this feed of podcasts that you can join anytime they're live. And the guy from Epic Games there, I think he was the CMO at the time, he was there talking about NFTs. So that was Epic Games. And then there was the Riot Games as well, who I think made League of Legends. And they were talking about NFTs. And I was listening and talking as well about NFTs. And I was like, whoa, these caliber people are looking at this stuff seriously. It's just a matter of time.
I'm just going to look up another
little... We're only in January.
I'm going to look up another little NFT because I love the idea. We've got a few people in our group, like members, that have got really creative with their art. And I've got some friends that are like traditional artists and taking like landscape images. And we've got others that have got like cartoons, and some that are doing like DeFi series. So I'm not sure if we're going to launch it like under Nugget's News brand, or we're just going to help these guys get started. But I loved recently the Fuocious story. So the young girl that we had on the channel ages ago, I didn't really know all her background, that she was like poor, and I think she had a troubled childhood. But now she's can afford her own place, and she's actually wealthy. And man, I just love hearing stories like that. But now I know, Matty, you've got some plans. I don't know if you want to talk about what you're doing or anything like that in the space, but it's just enabling people to do their own thing and create jobs and just this whole blossoming industry. And it needs all the different facets and different types of people. I just kind of love how that's enabling people to do what they love.
I think it's also just the freedom aspect of it is also cool. Like, yeah, it's a great way to earn some money. And usually people just put their art on or do something with Etsy and put their art on, some art selling platform. But this, suddenly you can engage with your collectors. You can sell digital pieces, physical pieces. And I think Twitter and social media has a lot to do with this as well, the acceleration of this. And we're fortunate that social media has reached, a good 10, 15 years of maturity. The blockchain space and now NFTs is reaching a maturity level. And suddenly all of these are intersecting, and it's just like this massive boom.
So I'll show you a few of these. I'm sure he won't mind. I'll keep it anonymous for now. But this is a guy in our group who started tinkering around with a few little NFTs, and this is one of them he made.
Nice. You? I just saw.
Yeah, when I get things right. I'm sure there's a lot of other names people will want to call me when I get things wrong, but. This is maybe like a little DeFi series that I kind of love the theme here. Like Q from Nexus Mutual, they're doing insurance with the Shield. And I said to him, you could do an awesome series here with all the personalities of DeFi and sell these as a collection. So yeah, this is just like a casual artist who might be able to now make a bit of a career out of it, or get some, get some money in and cut back at work like I did, and people can follow their dreams. So yeah, I just love it.
I think with the NFT space, I was telling you, Alex, we were talking about this before, but he can make that as just art, or we can maybe get some people in Decentraland to make a game and accept those NFTs as game assets. So suddenly you have these items that you bought as art, but maybe they're game items in Decentraland. This is all just big maybes, but this is what the tech can do and unlock, right? You can compound other people's creativity and build experiences, integrating other platforms and tech.
Yeah. Any other predictions? I probably think that, the gaming space, the virtual space, or augmented reality. So there's a few little projects, like there's even an Aussie one called Zookaz, where you might be walking down the street. Remember when everyone was playing that like Pokemon game where you can see these things on your phone?
The AR one, yeah.
You might be able to see like gift vouchers or specials or tokens in the street, like through augmented reality. There was another one, like even Benny is talking about at Red Fox, how you might go into that virtual shopping. So you try on the dress and you see all these things on your avatar. You might even go to a virtual food court and go look around and go, the Chinese there looks good, I'll order that. But then it comes and gets delivered to you through Uber Eats or whatever the equivalent is in Asia. In real life. So there's more and more of our lives that are going to be moving into this like virtual online space, but it still has to like interface with the real world. But a lot of this sort of blockchainy stuff enables the trust and a bit more of the security than just having a random company kind of do this.
Yeah, so my predictions for, let's make it kind of something actionable, or at least something that we can comprehend. But I think this is not investment advice. This is just what I think will happen. I think the crypto markets will boom this year. I think a lot of people kind of are of the same opinion. And I think the gaming sector will do really well, especially those that have established products. Now, that is Decentraland, that's Engine, that's probably going to be Sandbox. Whoever can get their product out and have something that visually is understandable to people, I think will bring that attention on social media and get people investing. And it'll be easier for influencers to pick up and talk about. So personally, I have quite a lot of cryptocurrency based on these top projects, and I'm dabbling on some new ones. I'm probably going to invest in everything Flow blockchain touches, Dapper Labs touches. I know they're bringing on the UFC on Flow. They're bringing some big IPs, some big games. I think whatever they're going to be releasing, I'm going to be trying to really figure out what's happening. And I'll be just that's what I think will happen. And I also think the marketplace. So, for example, previously, it was a big week if you could bring in, say, 300 Ethereum worth of volume on your NFT project. 300 Ethereum back then would have been, what's that? Let's say $500.
100 grand or yeah.
Yeah, 150K, right? In a week. But I think we're going to start to see millions of dollars be the norm. Maybe in the next second, third quarter, maybe third, fourth quarter, just because the on-ramps and the ability to spend money is just going to become so easy. And the collectability factor, I think, if you think about what actually made the NFT industry big, it wasn't the utility part of it. It was actually just the collectability part of it. And people rushed for CryptoPunks to pick it up. People rushed to buy crypto kitties for 170K because they wanted to collect it.
Yeah.
So if they're doing this with brands like NBA, UFC, they already know it's a proven kind of thing, right? People like to collect with NFTs. Then they add a brand. And I just think there's going to be so much money moving in that you have to understand marketplaces.
Yeah, I think when we say, well, what would the total market cap of all crypto be? I predicted 2 years ago that we'd already be at $1 trillion. Now, we got there this year, but what I had in my mind at that time in 2017 or 2018 was that a lot more assets would already be tokenized. And so when you think about all this artwork and NFTs and gaming sector, like if all those are on CoinMarketCap, for example, we can start to get into the trillions of dollars very, very quickly. And remember this year, the whole nobody wants to be first, then nobody wants to be last with all these investors. That is already, or I think it's just at the precipice of playing out with the branded stuff. So NBA, they do their thing. I know that, in Australia, maybe it's the cricket, AFL, in other countries, soccer or the football clubs. Nobody's going to want to be left out here. It's going to be this snowball effect, and all the big boards are going to say, hey, look at this big industry where there's money and the kids love this stuff. And then the musicians are going to want to start to get their rights as NFTs because they can go straight to their users. And the independent artists are going to have a way to make money more easily, as in musicians, just like we've seen the creative, painters and artists and that. So I just think that whole nobody wants to be first and nobody wants to be last is going to play out in all these different industries that NFTs and crypto is touching.
Yeah, I mean, like art and their big drops, like Nifty Gateway doing, pretty big volume. OG, the esports team, I'm not sure how many people watch Dota, but they're a pretty big esports team. They did a drop on Nifty Gateway, selling out $400,000 worth of art or collectible items. But what Nifty Gateway has done is, I guess, validated the digital collectible industry. Super Rare and Nifty Gateway, and I guess the whole art industry has done this. And now suddenly we're seeing some interest from big auction houses, mainstream ones, get involved and be like, oh, okay, what's happening here? And like you said, no one wants to be first, no one wants to be last. But NBA Top Shot, on the other hand, has validated, digital collecting for sports brands. So people are watching this, and I mean, NBA Top Shot was on Fox 5 this week.
Yeah.
So, it's getting the attention, and I think it's just a matter of time until some big moves continue to happen.
Okay. Well, guys, Matty is kind enough to do a report for us for the members. Keep an eye out for a monthly report on like what's hot, and I know so many people want to know how to invest, like what can I get exposure to this sector. So we'll make that a little bit of a focus as well, I think, education wise. And if you're interested in those collectibles, or if you've got, if you're in our group and you want to start to know how to do that, we might do a little bit of a tutorial on how to do those NFTs and mint them, and the best way to start your own little marketplace and that as well soon for members in our next monthly video. And for the rest of you guys, followers, Matty will be back next month on the channel. Otherwise, make sure you're following him on Twitter and his own YouTube and stuff where he's pumping out the content. Keep up the good work, Matty. I'm sure you're not getting much sleep, but
No.
that's good. Good problem to have.
Thanks, man. It is very, very hard. It's tough for us in Australia because at nighttime it's like everyone's awake and doing their thing right in the States.
You're waking up to all the news.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool, guys. Well, I'll see you soon. Thanks, Matty.
Thanks, guys. See ya.